We live? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I have got questions for you. What opens with us talking about marriage or divorce, and what closes with us talking about marriage or divorce? If you guessed Married to Medicine Season 5 Reunion Part 2 of 3, I think it's a 3-part reunion. It must be a 3-part reunion because they got to finish up, but they can't go much longer than this, can they? Although it was really good. If you guessed it or you read that, you're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the video or joining us live and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing. I'm Angela, and the channel is Be Fabulous You. All right, let us proceed. So, my mother was like, well, they must have told them to have marital issues. And I'm like, well, I don't know if they told them to have marital issues, because when we very first met Quad in season 1, y'all remember that Toya and the white woman, I think it was Toya and the white woman, were like, your husband, before you got married, he sent a text message out to everybody saying that the marriage wasn't going to happen. So I feel like Quad has been on kind of whatever was going on in her marriage after they got married. There was fighting, mugshots, whatever involved. She hasn't really been talking about it because she came in that blaze of mess and confusion around her marriage. And then we knew at the end of last season that Dr. Jackie and her husband, Fancy Car Curtis, were having issues. And I mean, I almost kind of feel like if people are married, they probably having issues. If people are dating, they probably having issues. If people are friends, they probably having issues. If people are family, part of the nature of relationships is that it be issues. Stuff come up. You got to work it out or not work it out, figure it out or not figure it out. I mean, it's relationships are challenging. Okay, let's go. So we got Heavenly. You and Simone are what we are. Heavenly is like, to Cecil or about Cecil, or, you and Simone and Dr. Simone and Cecil are what we all look to for a perfect marriage. Now, I do think that as grown people, it is and as people in general, it's very dangerous for us to, not dangerous, but it's just like, it's not realistic to think that anybody has a perfect marriage or think that anybody is perfect, or has a perfect life. It's just not, we got to move past that. It may look a certain way on the outside, but everybody has stuff that they're working through. And Heavenly is crying. She's just very upset. Now we're picking up where we left off at the end of the last episode, where Dr. Simone has let the world know, and some of the women on the panel know for the first time, that she and Cecil are getting a divorce, that she's filed for the paperwork, that it's a wrap. Dr. Heavenly is like, I was just playing when I was talking about, your marriage being in danger. I would have never played that way if I had known that y'all were going to get a divorce. You can't get a divorce. Oh my God, my heart is breaking. She just is really, really upset. Simone is like, our marriage has come as far as it can. And Dr. Heavenly is like, don't say that. Don't say that. Simone is like, we are not on bad terms, and I'm a team player and I'm willing to go for the team as far as it can go. But I have to be number one. I have to feel like, I'm the number one. And Cecil has just been emotionally unavailable to me for 10 years now. That's like almost half their marriage. That's a long time. And I'm not going to tie up any more time with it. And I guess I just figured, well, 10 years is a good try. I figure 10 years is a good try. I just figured 10 years is a good try. Toya is like, but he doesn't want a divorce. And Simone is like, well, he has to show that he doesn't want a divorce. He can't just say that he doesn't want a divorce if his actions don't line up with that. I'm not really here for it. I'm not hearing it. I don't care. What he says is irrelevant. I'm not going to stay for anyone. We had a blow up. He decided not to go to counseling. I asked him to stay. I told him that if he left, it was over. He left. So what am I supposed to do? And then Jackie and Toya and Simone, I think Toya and Dr. Simone were like on the couch or sitting together. And then I think Jackie has come over. But it's like the three of them. It's almost like, you know how you have a big chair? Like it's bigger than a normal size chair. It's like the three of them. It's smaller than a love seat, but bigger than a chair. It's like the three of them are close enough together that they could all be sitting in the same chair. You know, they're like all on top of each other. And Quad is nodding and crying, you know, in agreement with Dr. Simone. And Heavenly is like, you know, stop, Toya, be quiet. Because Toya keeps her position is like, you know, the marriage is not over. I'm not going to let it be over. You got to fight for it. I'm not going to let you stop fighting. And Dr. Heavenly is like, you know, if they get in a divorce, we got to support her. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. You know, she needs support. And Quad is like, you know, the Andy is like, well, Quad, what's your reaction? And Quad is like, you know, crying. And she's like, you know, I'm listening to Simone is like looking in a mirror. You know, I'm giving everything to a person. The person still wants more and acts like, you know, what you give is nothing. Now, that's not exactly what I heard Dr. Simone saying, but okay. And then Jackie is like, you know, I've been yelled at, you know, because, you know, Dr. Simone already told her. So she said when Dr. Simone told her, she asked her questions, you know, so she got yelled at for some of the questions she asked. She got cussed out. You know, they done already been through it. And so she's just here to support. You know, I'm here for Simone. You know, I've known Cecil a long time. I've known Cecil longer than I've known my husband. And I love him. But in the divorce, I get Dr. Simone. So that's just how it is. We see, then they take a break or whatever, and then we see Andy at Mariah's dressing room area, and he's like, you know, so what's up? And you know, Ladybug Mariah is like, well, she vandalized my property, and no one cares because it's me. You know, she feels very victimized. She feels very dismissed. She feels very diminished. And you know, Andy indicating that he don't really care. He's like, well, I'm about to meet with the men, Dr. Aiden, and you know, we really want you to come. And you know, Mariah's like, yeah, go, don't let them silence you, or you know, I don't know. The whole dynamic is just really interesting. And you know, I kind of feel like, you know, I had a theory. I've had a theory that, you know, I think Mariah is that person who's, you know, extra. Some people have a cubicle at work and they don't do nothing with their cubicle at work but work in it. Some people have a cubicle at work and they have plants up, they have pictures up, they have mini refrigerator, they got a space heater, they got a blanket on their chair. It's like when you walk in the cubicle, it's like a whole experience. And some people's cubicle, they could walk out that night and anybody could walk in the next day and you wouldn't know that anybody inhabited that space. I just imagine that, even though in some ways it looks really kind of cuckoo crazy for the woman to, not cuckoo crazy, but it looks like very, for her to have her picture on the door. I just imagine, now I wouldn't do that, but if I did do it, it would be because I was saying, when I get to this space, I know I'm going to be here all day and I'm going to be fighting and arguing with these women. It's going to be some mess and some confusion. But when I arrive at my door, there's my smiling face to greet me and let me know that this is my space, my safe space where I'm celebrated. And when I go through these doors, it's like I'm free to be me and appreciated and loved, you know. So, but you know, I think it was really, really dumb for, or just like immature and silly for Dr. Heavenly to draw on herself. It seems like Dr. Heavenly knows how to push her buttons, and you know, it's just bad. Like, I wish she wouldn't react, because the woman is doing stupid stuff and you giving her a reaction to stupid stuff. But it is offensive for a grown person to be drawn. You know, it's just the whole situation with Mariah. I don't know if I feel bad for her. And it's kind of like, it's not exactly funny to watch, but it's kind of amazing to watch. But Mariah does not want, you know, she really, really fighting for her show. And it's, you know, so she wants Dr. Aiden to go down and to fight for him. So we see the men, they're like in a bar setup. And I thought, oh, the lady should have been like in a hair salon setup. You know, people always say that when you go to a bar, you end up telling your bartender all your business. When you go to the hair salon, you end up telling your hairstylist all your business. So, you know, Andy is the bartender getting all the dirt from the men. He could be the hairstylist getting all the dirt from the women, right? It's just the men alone with Andy, which is something I don't think we've seen. Have we seen that on a reunion before? What we're going to see later is the men sitting behind the women. That seems like the normal thing that we see on, that's what I remember seeing. But he has some time just alone with these men without their wives. Dr. Eugene has lost 40 pounds. Yay! Lucy, who is Mariah's mother, is living with Dr. Aiden, and that Scott is challenging. Dr. Scott talks about how challenging it is being on reality TV and, sharing his life with the world, but it's all good. Fancy Car Curtis doesn't know, Andy is like, well, at the beginning of the season, we didn't know if you would be here at the end of the season, but here you are. How does it feel? He's like, it feels good, whatever. Cecil is like, Andy says to Cecil, we just heard about the divorce. What do you want to add? And Cecil is like, it's really sad, but both parties have to be willing to work. And both of us feel that the other one is not willing to do the work on the relationship. Aiden says that he's upset. Dr. G is like, Aiden is upset about the divorce because they just found out about it. Dr. G is kind of like, yeah, and I wish I could help, but asking me for help is like, it's like he didn't really complete the metaphor, and I was like, I got plenty of metaphors, but then when I tried to think of some, I couldn't. But it's like asking the drunk person, the alcoholic, to help you stop drinking, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so then we see, we find out that Dr. Cecil, Damon says that Cecil still has his ring on, so he says it's not a done deal. He's still praying for him. They talk about, the devil's not going to win. Divorce is the devil winning, blah, 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 blah. Cecil talks about his golf buddy, which Dr. Simone had mentioned that he has a female golf buddy who she feels like undermines their relationship, and she's not a fan. She says she does not feel that there is a sexual relationship between them, but she just is probably like emotionally intimate in a way that she feels undermines her relationship and her intimacy with her husband. So it might, I don't know. But he says Cecil agrees. He says that he feels that the golf buddy did drive a wedge. He said the golf buddy is platonic, like a sister, and he loves her. And sometimes your family be messing your stuff up. And sometimes it's just time for stuff to end. And maybe it's not going to end. Maybe we'll see them next season and they'll be back together. Oh, by the way, did you see the Potomac is coming back? I still like the Housewives of Potomac. I'm watching them. Okay, so then nervous Cecil said he was about the world and his affair. When I got married, Dr. Eugene says, he said he was going to forsake no other. And we're all like, you mean you're going to forsake all others for your wife? Okay, Dr. Eugene. Don't be, my mother's like, it's like Lisa's husband when he's like, we've been married for 10 years and I've been faithful to my wife for 5. 10. I'm forsaking no other. I'm forsaking all others. Okay. Nobody feels sorry for Fancy Car Curtis because Curtis is trying to check Dr. Eugene for trying to check Curtis. Do you feel sorry for Fancy Car Curtis? I don't feel sorry for Fancy Car Curtis. Me and Dr. Eugene are sipping Fancy Car Curtis's tears, like whatever. What is it like being married to an alpha female? Andy asserts that all of the women are basically alpha females, so how is it like? And Dr. G is like, he gets so upset sometimes that he was, like on the show, for example, he was supporting infidelity. He was so upset. Dr. Eugene said he's not going to be mad at Toya. Basically it seemed like they trying to get Dr. Eugene to be mad at Toya for talking about his masturbation or their sex life or whatever. And it's like Dr. Eugene is just not here for it. Like, y'all can't really get Dr. Eugene to get mad at Toya, at least for that stuff. So, he didn't really pay into that. He says he's happy, and he does seem really happy. I think he looks better. He looks healthier. He seems like more clever and vibrant and energetic, or, I don't know, but that's how it seemed to me. Dr. Damon, he doubles down on his belief that men are less likely to accept cheating than women, and but he does admit at the end that it's hypothetical. He doesn't know what, hey, welcome on the chat. He doesn't know what he would do in, because you never know what you're going to do until you are in a situation. So you can have all kinds of theories, because I know people who are like, oh, I would never accept a man cheating on me, and then their man cheats on them and they're still together. And that's not a judgment. That's just like an acknowledgement that you never know. He says he basically, happy Saturday, Rowdy Chica 59. He basically just hoping he don't have to deal with Dr. Heavenly, cheating on him and him finding out about it. And I don't blame him, and I hope she don't have to deal with that for him. Okay, so then we see Mariah is back on stage. She's joined the ladies. Dr. Heavenly, we thought was going to give an apology, but her apology is not good. Thank you for the like. So I don't know what kind of, she's kind of like, I don't even know what she said, but it didn't seem to be an apology to me. I wouldn't have taken it as an apology. I don't know why she vandalizing that woman's stuff. We talked about that earlier. Jackie says to Heavenly, when Mariah says, tell her she was wrong, Jackie does say to Dr. Heavenly, you were wrong, which she was wrong with her foolish behind. And Andy is like, well, why do you have a big picture on your door? Mariah says, it makes her smile. It's like represents happiness and success. That was exactly my theory. Now, that's not how we all would handle it, but she entitled to do that. And she's is also probably trying to, like she's, if like, it's like a power play in a way. So I think that's the dynamic that's not really being discussed. It's like if everybody just have, a little name on the door and she has a picture on the door, it's like she's the top dog. She's the best one. They ain't even think about it. If Quiet had thought about it, Miss Quiet probably would have had one, but she didn't. Mariah's one step ahead. She's above and beyond. And so that was Dr. Heavenly's way of bringing her down, because there's all that back behind the scenes tea where Mariah wanted to cast Heavenly, and Bravo was like, well, she's too big and she has to lose weight, and Mariah has talked about that publicly, and kind of like, I guess maybe Dr. Heavenly feels demeaned or embarrassed or whatever, and so she's so Mariah made a power move and Heavenly made a power move. Now it was like, juvenile, but it obviously looked like Mariah was upset. So we see Curtis and Jackie, you only live once. They're relieved to be together. Live once, relive now. Oh, no, sorry. Andy is talking about the fact that they had to live it in real time, then they had to relive it on the TV, watching it during the season, and now they got to relive it again, his cheatation, talking about it on this reunion. And so they have questions from people who have written in, and one person is like, well, did you want to get caught? Because you're like a public figure. Why did you think that this would be secretive? And Curtis is like, I don't like fancy car Curtis and how he talks. I didn't, he said he didn't want to be caught and it was a bad choice and blah, 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 blah. And then they have another question from someone who says, you said if he wasn't happy that he should find someone else to make him happy. So it seemed like you granted him permission. And then it's like, dun, 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 and they go to commercial. But I still maintain that, if you're not happy, go find somebody else means divorce me and go find somebody else. Not have a secretive extramarital affair. I don't think, let's be grown up about it. Let's be grown up about it. So she says basically that, like, that's not what I meant. And we all know that's not what I meant. And then we find out that they're in counseling, and Jackie says that she's working on rebuilding the trust, that she's still very nervous and angry and hurt sometimes. And the hardest part is dealing with the fact that all of this is unfolding on TV. And she just constantly gets reminders on social media and even in real life from her patients. And then they show like a scene of one of her patients talking to her. Dr. Jackie is very like sober in how she talks about it. Like, people mean well. They're trying to be helpful. Some of these patients have known me for a long time. They care about me, but it is different. And it kind of makes me, reminds me, like, Atlanta is a relatively big city. You can kind of be anonymous in a way in Atlanta. But get the divorce first. Duh. I mean, we ain't buying that mess. And if that's what you were doing, you'd have said anyway. But Atlanta is a relatively big city, but in small communities and in certain places, everybody is all up in your business and they know everything that's going on. So that's the type of experience that Dr. Jackie is having, which you usually don't have in a big city. You can kind of be anonymous and have some kind of privacy. She ain't got no privacy, or not at least on this particular issue. Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, so she working on rebuilding trust, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So last Friday they say they got the papers dismissed for the divorce. So is she happy? I mean, I hope it works out for him. I personally don't have a good feeling about Fancy Car Curtis, but I'm not married to him, so I wish him well. I hope everybody is really happy in the situation and continues to grow and develop. So we see Quad and Greg, since filming stopped, how have things been going, Andy asked. And Quad is like, it's basically been more of the same. Some days it's okay. And Dr. G is like, well, showing her appreciation is like a moving target. I can't never get it right. When at first she said, oh, you would never buy me nice things, but I bought her nice things. That watch or bracelet or whatever, that's 10 stacks. This car, that's 50 stacks. And now I don't show her appreciation. And then they go back into the loop about, money is not the same, spending money is not the same as showing appreciation. I want time. He says that he wants time. He wants the fun back. He wants a family and fun and happiness like Simone and Cecil. And again, it's really interesting to me how Simone and Cecil are like, goals, #goals for, the folks on the for this group of people. Like it seems like in the real world, not just for TV. And that, he, even though their relationship is in distress and probably dissolving, Cecil and Dr. Simone's, that's his vision of what he wants. He wants to, like when they go over to their place for Sunday dinner and the kids are there and it's a family affair and it's like he's got this idealized vision of what their life is like, and that's what Dr. Greg wants for his life. And it kind of like, I really felt like listening to him, I believed it. I felt like his sincerity with that. And Dr. Quad is like, well, I want children just like he wants children. I've always wanted children. I have a name picked out for my daughter. It's London Genevieve. I still want a job. I still want a child. It's not just him, so, and I kind of believe that also. Hey, just dropped in to throw you a thumbs up. Peace, sister. Peace out. Thank you. He seemed to show appreciation with hugs. And then he said she didn't do aw. Oh, so then we go into this loop where, she's like, oh, I'm getting your office ready. And it's the last day. And she comes in with the gifts and he opens the gifts up and there's the diploma and put it on the wall. And then Dr. G hugs her and everything looks all happy. Like, I'm like, well, he seemed like he's showing appreciation. He hugging you, And then, she said, I guess behind the scenes or off camera, that, she's like, it was hot Georgia in June and I'm in warehouses from sun up to sundown. She felt like an enslaved Black person. And you asked me why I'm so stressed out about your office. Why are you so stressed out about my office, Quad? You act like it's your office. And I'm stressed out because you are my man and you set a goal. And, I could really feel her passion. Like, I really believe that, and I wanted to make sure that you obtain that goal. Like, I think that she was really, taking it seriously. Like, he felt like he did stuff, but she felt like she did stuff and like it wasn't appreciated. Now, I guess the rumor or whatever the theory is that she already has another man and has had another man, and that's why he just can't get it right. But I don't know. It seemed like she really was passionate about, like I could relate to that feeling she had of like he had set a goal and she wanted to do everything that she could to support him in making that goal a reality, making that vision come to be. Like I could feel, I believed her. A lot of times I don't believe Quad. Like I feel like she's blah, 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 blah. Like she just be talking about some bull to me. She don't really be saying nothing. She talks a lot and she doesn't say anything. But in this moment, I felt like I believed. Did you believe? So so they're back and forth. Oh, you block my calls. Well, let's talk about the phone blocking. My husband will call me and yell and scream and hang up the phone in my face. And I have asked him repeatedly, again and again, over and over again, not to hang up in my face. So I told him, I figured I would just make it easier and I would put him on block for a couple of. So it's like putting him on block is like putting him on punishment. Again, I say this all the time. All of the fussing and fighting and the power play in the relationship, it's just like, it's hard for me to like understand. Like, I just feel like if I had gotten into that kind of fight with somebody or felt like I needed to block them, I just would be like, let's just let it go. Let's call it quits. Like, I'm not going to be out here. And maybe I just haven't had that passionate experience of like just deep, passionate love. I don't know. But I know I just don't understand when I'm like, it looks awful to me. It sounds awful to me. It feels awful to me watching it. It doesn't look like anything. It's just awful. It's awful to me. So the blocking, and then Mariah, had wanted to jump in and say something, and Andy's like, well, Mariah, you wanted to jump in, and Mariah's like, well, from the outside looking in, it looks like it's all about you, and Quad is like, whatever, and then Contessa says, you talking about body language, and you push him away whenever he touches you, you don't like your husband, and I don't know if Contessa asked, but it comes up, and Contessa is kind of co-signing that, and she's like, I love my husband, blah, 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 but I have shut down, and then, there's a lot that goes on in our relationship that you're not privy to. And then Dr. G is like, well, let's just put it all on the table. Me and a friend met up with some girls at the golf course and blah, blah, blah. And we went to the hotel room. And then the episode is over. And so it's kind of like, okay, they went to a hotel. Okay. So, and we already know from the previews that we're going to hear Dr. Simone saying, you're on TV. It's biatches out here looking for you. I don't know who she talking to and what we're going to find out. But, yeah, that was it. I don't know. It just make me feel bad. I don't know. And then now that I've been watching more Sister Circle, it's like at the beginning of the episode, they're like, well, what did you do last night? And Quad always be to me talking like bull, like, oh, well, last night I was just really working on personal development and doing some reading and just really learning how to be more into myself and je ne sais quoi and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, what you do last night? Like, what you reading? What book are you? Like, I don't even, like, what you talking about? Like, I don't. But anyway, I just feel like I guess she don't really want to talk about what's going on. Can't talk about what's going on. It ain't really none of our business. But I'm like, is she divorced now? Like, when I watch the show, I'm like trying to see, is she divorced? Like, can I see it? Can I understand? Are they separated? What's going on? We don't know these people, We at episode 18, 17. So that's like 17 hours of how many people is it on the cast? 8, 10 different people's lives. We don't know nothing about these people. But and then it's edited to try to make the show hang together and coherent, because life ain't always like that, where at the end of 18 episodes we got, so. But anyway, that's it. That was Married to Medicine reunion part 2. I'm looking forward to reunion part 3. But I just really want, I just want the people to be happy. I want, if Quad and Dr. G can't make it, and to me it don't look like they can make it. They look like they need it really serious help. And I just don't know if they can make it. But if they can't make it, I just want them to go away from each other and be happy. Just be happy. The same thing with Cecil and, Dr. Simone. And, I just want the people to be happy. It's just, so anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm about to do notes on the news feed. Today is the best day ever. So be you. Oh, we're working on 1,000. We're working on 1,000. We're working on 1,000. We're working on 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for being a part of the vision. Today is the best day ever. So be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous.